Ladies and gentlemen, good morning. Welcome to BASF at K 2020. You can have a seat if you want. Welcome back on board our plastics journey. It's the 7th day of K Fair, and there are people who say that we should rest on the 7th day. But we don't do that, but at least we make ourselves a little comfortable by talking about how comfort can meet sustainability. I'm going to do this with Michael Leisinger, Global Head of Product at Vitra International. Welcome.
Thank you.
Glad to have you here. And BASF's very own Tonio Bode, FlexFoam Account Manager. Yeah. Good morning, gentlemen.
Morning.
We're talking about some absolute icons in furniture design and how Vitra and BASF are actually revolutionizing these icons and the production of these icons. Tonio, I'm going to start with you. There's something used now at Vitra which is a meltable foam.
Yeah.
Can you talk us through the technology? How does it work? How is it being produced?
Yeah, so in general, flexible polyurethane foam is a great product. Not because I say so, but we can only look in the industry and see all couches, sofas, and design furniture is produced with flexible foam. Mm-hmm. And the one thing that was not so good is it was not easily recyclable. And with the meltable foam, we now have a new road that we can take with the polyurethane foam to actually recycle it in a way easier way. So we can melt it in different kinds. We can do a new foam out of it. We can go a road maybe of TPU. We have different options which are now being researched. And yeah, so polyurethane now actually is recyclable.
Okay, great news, definitely, but a little more on the technology. You said you can melt it. How does that work?
Yeah, so now if you apply pressure and heat, as you can see on this picture here, yeah, the foam was produced as a block before, and then you put pressure and heat, and you can emboss it, you can change it, so it's melting, and then of course it's very close to say you can also recycle it.
Michael, as I understand, Vitra is one of the first manufacturers, first companies using that foam. Actually, it's a co-creation of BASF and Vitra. Right. What drove you to explore this topic?
Yes, I mean, at the end, at Vitra, we have very ambitious sustainability goals, I have to say. So, for instance, one example is that we want to be net positive in 2030. And that puts also a high pressure on us, on the product development teams.
Yeah, that's 5 years from now.
Yeah, so we really have to be fast, exactly. And as Tonio already mentioned, there's one thing in our industry which is one of the biggest sustainability issues. Because for all other technologies, there are kind of solutions in place for aluminum or for PP plastic and so on, but PU foam is exactly, as you said, is one of the major topics to be solved because everyone is using it, no matter if it's premium or low cost, outdoor, indoor furniture, everyone is using it. Because at the end it also provides a lot of performance, low cost, easy designable, but also then with a very good durability. And the biggest sustainability promise of Vitra is actually longevity. A chair which survives for 10, 20, 30, 40 years is always more sustainable than one which you need to buy a new one in the same period. And therefore, we wanted to put a lot of energy into solving that issue because here finally, besides the positive factors of conventional PU foam, we have here also finally an answer to circularity with using recycled content, but then sooner or later also can recycle it.
Yeah, and you're also promoting that quite prominently. You actually even gave it an own name, right?
Yeah, yeah, we gave it the name Reform because we think it's just such a big lever for sustainability in our industry that it deserves to be more than just another new material. Because, as mentioned, it solves one of the major topics we have in our industry to come to really a circular business model.
Yeah. Tonio, tell us a little bit how this all started. I assume that Vitra and BASF have been in a customer-supplier relationship for quite a few years, maybe? Yeah. But how did this go now?
Yeah, so we know each other for quite some time. And so we also know that Vitra was looking for an alternative material because of the non-recyclability. So you were looking for something very proactively and said, hey, yeah, so you know, figure it out, or we need to figure it out. And maybe it was like the light bulb with Edison. We had a research colleague who had just one more idea, and this was the one we needed. And now we were able to melt it. So we presented it to Vitra, to you. We made intensive testing. And by the end of these testings, they said 100% commitment, we're going to do this. You stopped all other activities.
Indeed, yes.
And said, okay, we're going full throttle. We're going to develop this together and see how fast we can bring it to the market. And it was quite fast.
How fast?
So we were within 2 years from the idea in the lab to the complete production switch, running production.
Okay. Michael, we had quite a few talks already here on stage, and we had a number of companies saying that they're super ambitious when it comes to their sustainability targets, but still everybody also talked about quite some hesitancy internally, but also when it comes to the customer. How did you perceive that during the collaboration? Did you have to convince a lot of people at Vitra also that this is going to fly?
No, I think at Vitra we generally have an engineering team who is always seeking for the next innovative material and technology. And on top of that, as mentioned, we have very ambitious sustainability goals, where also our CEO and owners are super pushing for it. And as mentioned, to be a net positive in 2030, we cannot make the small mini step and then the next mini step and the next mini step. So we really have to go also with bold changes to really hit these targets, and therefore there's no questions. If we do it, it was just a question how fast we can do it.
Yeah, but it's also quite risky. I mean, you really went all in also on introducing that product into your production, right?
True, yes, but on the other hand side, I think there was also several reasons why we did that. So I would say one more pragmatic thing is we have a very centralized foam production in Europe. So, and in terms of effort, and it made the most sense to change the whole production at once. On the other hand side, I also have to say we had a very strong, obviously, partner with BASF, which has a bit a similar mindset than we in our engineering teams, are really digging into all the details. And as you said, extensive testing. That's also something Vitra is enthusiastic about, testing, which sometimes leads to frustration, I have to say, in product development. But this also gives a lot, how can I say it, a lot of security, and also a probability that we succeed at the end.
Yeah. Tonio, I just saw you smiling or laughing. It almost sounds to be too good to be true, this cooperation. Weren't there moments where you thought, okay, no, this is not working?
No, not really. But this is because of the previous 5-10 years where our connection grew better and better. And so we really got to know each other, and this was also very important for the whole project. We could talk quite openly, and so we could always take the fastest route. If there was issues, we talked about it. If there was maybe a possible way to do it a week faster, but it also took some risk. Maybe it could not work, and we'd take a longer time. Then we took the 1 week. And yeah, so it was just a very, very good collaboration.
Michael, of course, Vitra furniture, Vitra products are also sold to specific people out there, yeah, because these are design icons, as you said, which have to last for decades. How strong is their push towards you for more circular or sustainable solutions?
I would say that highly depends on the market where we are active. So we're selling furniture and interior design to different markets or channels, I would say. So we're selling that to corporate clients, to offices, where we then furnish and make the interior design of corporate clients. On the other hand side, we're selling to private clients, like hopefully you.
We talk about that later.
Okay, good. The living furniture for the home. And I would say in the corporate market environment, there we see a strong pull from our clients, because also new offices or furniture or let's say the new office buildings, they also pay strongly into the carbon footprint of a company. Therefore, the clients are interested in it. And on the other hand side, there are also more and more regulations from EU, but also individual countries for office furniture. On the other hand side, we have the home market, so for private clients like all of you or me, where I would say the pull factor is a bit less, because as you can imagine, when you buy a new sofa or lounge chair, the first decision factor usually is then design or comfort or price or maybe adaptability, and then it comes to sustainability. So I have to admit there's a little less pull factor, but still it's growing. It grows slowly, but it's growing, and we see that also as kind of investment into the future, because we believe sooner or later, no matter if it's by buying behavior of the clients or by regulation, it will be a clear decision factor.
Is growing regulatory pressure already playing a role in this, or were you ahead of the curve?
So we are quite ahead of the curve. But of course, we need to be also. We now made it meltable, we made it recyclable, but there's still a road to go to include it in new material. And so I think it's a good thing that we start early and that we got lucky that we have such good research colleagues that come up with new ideas all the time. So we can now actually get started on our journey. Yeah? So we are all wearing this. I'm on a journey. And I think it's quite fitting to this project as well.
Yeah, we have to give one to Michael also.
Yeah, I need one, yeah.
One of those. Michael, another question to you that mainly interests me personally. How much do the designers that you collaborate with influence the sustainable material choice?
Of course, a designer has a big impact into our product development and in our new projects. And they're also, all of them are searching for new solutions because they know the issue our environment has, or our world, and also our industry. And therefore, I think we as Vitra can also be a strong partner for them, bringing with our collaboration partners new technologies also to their awareness. Yeah.
Tonio, is this the future of furniture foam?
I would like to believe so. So we always say we have many different sustainability routes, and it's always more important to choose the right one that fits the best. And I believe this is a very good one to go more in the direction of, and then combine it with other things as well.
I mean, maybe I can add to that. I highly would agree to that. Because as mentioned, this is one of the furniture industry. This is one of the major topics which was so far unsolved, I would even say. And now it's the first time we really can tackle that and somehow combine, I would say, two worlds. So the world of the conventional PU foam, where you have a good price, good durability, good designability, and on the other hand side, finally have a solution for circularity, which haven't been there before.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
I always have a kind of a closing question, because K-Fair is happening every 3 years. Now, you are already so advanced in what you are doing. What are we going to talk about in 2028 if you two come back on stage?
You mean in terms especially on PU foam?
Yeah.
Yeah. I guess you have to wait to see that.
Okay.
But we, together with such a strong partner and all the engineering minds we had into this project, we already tried to develop this material further to find new solutions where we currently don't have a solution in terms of circularity or sustainability.
Yeah.
I have an idea for you, 2028. We talked about the importance of corporate clients for Vitra. You have convinced BASF in Lemförde to go full Vitra furniture.
I would agree to that.
Yeah. I would agree as well.
Yeah? Or do you have a different idea for 2028?
Let's see. Having a lot of Vitra certainly sounds good. There's other very important players also. I think we all need to be together here. We are all in the same boat. So moving forward, having everything meltable would be, of course, a very big thing. That's a good idea. And then we'll see. Yeah. The good thing is we don't only get the sustainability, we also get more design freedom with the meltability. So I believe there are some interesting things to come out of this product as well.
Very good. I'm happy to find that out together with you back in 2028. Thank you so much for the insights this morning. You can give me the lounge chair later.
Okay,
That's okay.
When I get the button.
Actually, you get a button, I get a lounge chair. Tonio, Michael, thank you very much, and thank you for your attention.
Thank you.
BASF. We create chemistry.